Welcome to the Foray Music Podcast. I'm Charlie.
I'm Alexandria.
And I'm Amy.
On this week's pod, our 4 for Foray article, Songs for Fall. 12 of our favorite songs for changing leaves, pumpkin spice, and the start of sweater weather. And more. First off, what's new with everybody? Amy, you want to start?
Of course I will. Well, I went to Guitar Center because I needed a speaker stand for a gig I had, my first New York City gig, which I didn't end up using, which was kind of ironic, but I'm glad I have it now because it'll like elevate my QSC. And while I was in there, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna buy my keyboard because I've been wanting to buy a P125 Yamaha keyboard, and I was like kind of just waiting until I felt like I had the savings since I've been buying a lot of things for my apartment. And in Guitar Center, I was like, no, today's the day.
It is
I'm
now.
buying it. It's happening. And so I'm gonna go pick it up tomorrow. So I got the keyboard, a bench, I got a sustain pedal, like the real one, not like the little square. And what was the fourth thing? And the keyboard stand. So I'm really excited because in college I had a Williams, which no hate on that. It like did the job, but I'm really excited to have a weighted action, like beautiful
Yes.
keyboard in my bedroom. I think it's gonna be a good creativity boost and like inspiring thing to, to have. So yeah.
Yeah, it's good to have an instrument around. What's this? What's like the was that offensive? I don't know. But
No, that was incredible. It's so true.
Yeah.
but what's like the go pick it up at Guitar Center thing? Like they didn't have it in stock kind of thing, or
Well, I was gonna ship it to my apartment, but I had some issues where like 3 packages went missing,
oh,
and it's just really freaked me out. So I had them, they didn't have it in stock. Yeah, so I had them ship it to the store, and then I'm gonna train over there and then Uber home with it is the plan.
that's exhausting. When I lived on the
Yes.
Upper West Side, I bought like an iMac, and then like I went down to the Apple store that's like in the corner of like Central Park, like it's in the southeast corner of Central Park, like that one, that cool one where it
Hmm.
has like a glass top. And I went there and I had this like iMac and I just bought it. And then I walked from the southeast corner of Central Park to the northeast corner of Central Park and then like another 20 blocks, like with an iMac.
Oh my
No.
And it
gosh,
was like the
Charlie.
winter. Like, it was just a
No.
monster.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, oh, I should maybe get in a cab. And I was like, no, that's expensive or whatever. And I had
Fair.
like a $2,000 iMac that I'm carrying.
I'm so
And
glad you did not get mugged.
yeah, and then
That's
I was like, "Oh, I'll go
insane.
on the subway," and I was like, "No, someone's definitely gonna rob me if I'm on the subway." And I'm like, "But walking through Central Park is obviously no one no one's gonna rob me." And I'm like, "Well, I'm in a park. Only
No,
good things happen
sometimes
in parks."
sometimes there's no good explanation, like any of the ways you can rationalize something happening. And you're right, you're in a park in broad daylight.
If I'd remembered what I learned from Home Alone 2, like everything goes down in the park in Central Park. Like
Oh my
bad things
God.
go down in Central Park. I don't know, but it was exhausting. Some of that like easy logistic stuff that happens if you're like in the suburbs, like you're in the city and it's like, okay, we need.
I've been
Yeah,
thinking
like
about
going
that.
to the grocery store.
Literally. It's insane. It's insane, dude. Like all those logistics things.
Yeah.
And you
Walking
don't
up
expect.
the stairs to
Yeah.
go to bring your heavy groceries up.
Driving too, forget about it. I drive for work.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. And driving for work is sometimes the craziest thing ever. I'm like, so I really have to like put this in a parking garage right now just so I can go inside for like this long and then come. It's just insane. But yeah, I think I'm gonna Uber home with it because I was afraid that if I just shipped it to my house, that it would not be
Make it.
here. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm afraid of that just in New Hampshire where nothing has ever gotten stolen. Like I'll be like, something's coming. Like
You're like,
I ordered like 2 extra little dongles for my iPhone, like the little headphone dongle, like the adapter things, and I was like looking out a window, like when is UPS coming? It says it's gonna be here, and it was like I just spent $12 on two little dongles, and I'm like, whatever, like the dog at the door.
I
Um,
relate.
Alexandria, how about you? What's up with you? Yours is kind
Um,
of similar for this. We were kind of talking
oh yeah, like
show.
a little hot take. I'd rather take the bus over the train any day. Like I've been having to take the train into work every week, and
Are you talking Amtrak right
I
now?
took the Amtrak.
Amtrak.
No hate Amtrak, just like fix the lighting. Like I I even bought a sleep mask so that I could go to sleep. I could not, in fact, go to sleep because the lighting is so trash. They picked the worst lighting. Of course, they picked the worst lighting so you don't sleep through your stop. But at the same time, my guy, like, come on, either turn off the lights. It's 2:40 in the morning. Who wants to be awake? Nobody wants to be awake.
No one, yeah.
So just shut off the lights. The bus, guess what? They turn off the lights.
So you can fall asleep.
So I can fall asleep, and they keep them off until the sun comes up.
That's good because then you don't. Do you have to get off before the sun comes up?
No.
There you go.
So and it's just
But wait, so would you say that on the bus? Are you more comfortable on the bus as well, or is this merely a lighting issue? Because Amtrak's pretty darn
okay, they're comfortable. The seats are very comfortable.
Yeah.
Howsoever, as my grandmother would say, that's not a word. The fact that a stranger can come up to me and just like, excuse me, and I'm just like, I see, I'm sprawled out on the couch, or not the couch, the seat. You see, I'm clearly taking up two seats. Like everybody's clearly taking up two seats. There are more seats
Move
right
on.
behind me.
Yeah.
I know I'm small, but move. Like, just move. Hold, please.
Our door's opening.
1 second. Sorry, our roommates are walking. This is when we cut
Sure.
this out. This is when we. No, you're fine.
Anyway,
Anyways, yeah.
bus over train.
Bus over train any day.
I will say I just booked a bus ticket to the Adirondacks, well, to Albany, to see my grandparents. Much cheaper. I was looking at Amtrak. I was like, never mind.
If you book it I book everything a month in advance, and
And
it's
it's
so cheap.
Cheap. Okay.
And I didn't even know this Amtrak does go to the South.
Really?
Yeah, I can go to New Orleans for like $100, but it's of course like a 31-hour train. But
Let's do
still.
it. 31-hour train to New Orleans. Let's
Like-
go.
Anyways, yeah.
Charlie, you in?
No.
No.
I like to drive.
Oh, I like driving too.
Yeah,
I thought you were
driving
gonna
is
go
so
totally the opposite way with that with lighting. I thought you were gonna be like, it's not safe. Like it's too dark. Like there are spooky like vampire men on the Amtrak or something. But no, it's the opposite.
No, and like they're doing all this construction around Penn Station. So in order to even like get into Penn Station, I have to like go all the way around because the subway stops on the other side. And like if I take the subway, like I'm right at the entrance where the bus is, and it's just like, yeah, I'm just being a little wuss. But
no.
I'm I'm getting like one of those real sleep masks, not the like cute ones you buy from like TJ Maxx. I got like a real blackout sleep mask and a good travel pillow so I can go to sleep.
So you're kind of nesting on the bus.
Yes.
You're like making your little spot on the bus. Like,
Yes, who's
like this is my spot, or on the Amtrak or whatever.
I mean, you
Yes.
kind
You
of
have a
got it.
curtain. You have your whole thing. Like you hang like a painting on the.
Oh my gosh. Also like you have like some nice scenery on the bus. Like I saw the fall
True.
foliage. I saw the sunrise. It was,
And not on Amtrak?
not on the Amtrak.
So
Okay.
Anyways.
Well, I'd like a very Charlie thing to share this week.
Mhm.
Because
Yay.
you're like, okay.
No,
Well,
I said
um,
yay.
yay. Well,
Yay.
because we haven't had a newsletter for the last like 2 weeks or something. Like we did the four for Foray thing, which we're going to talk about in a second. And then we had a week off, so I didn't have my normal sort of like dump of like self-help like things and like whatever, like semi-deep thoughts. So I had this one thing that, so because I've been traveling a lot lately and just like it's been really hard to kind of catch up with stuff, and I've been feeling just behind on everything. There's this idea that I want to talk about, which is called productivity debt. And it comes from Oliver Berkman, which is stuff I've shared before. But he has this newsletter called The Imperfectionist, and he has this book about kind of like time management and all that kind of stuff. But the idea of productivity debt is that many of us have this feeling that we begin each morning in a state of productivity debt, which we must struggle to pay off over the course of the day if we're to feel by the evening like we've earned our spot on the planet.
Oh wow.
Um, and then he says many days you end up feeling like you failed to pay off this mysterious existential debt. But the days when you succeed, when you do make it through your to-do list or do conquer the accomplishment that seemed so consequential at 8 a.m., that aren't really all that much better. Those days aren't that much better because the satisfaction is so fleeting. A new day will soon dawn after all. The debt will reset. The rock will roll back down the hill. The countdown clock starts to tick again. And he says the alternative, easier said than done, is to contemplate the possibility that peace of mind and your general sense of adequacy as a human being might be things that you started with, as opposed to things you started without and then needed to achieve through your efforts. Um, so this is like kind of something I need to hear. I mean, this goes to a lot of other kinds of things. This is the same person that wrote about aliveness, not meaningfulness, that kind of thing. So
Mm.
this is kind of coming from a similar book or a similar way of thought. But um, I do kind of feel like this, and it's not just daily. It's like for me, things are grouped a lot semester wise. Like, oh, in
Mm.
this semester, I've decided I need to get this done or X, Y, and Z done, and feeling really a sense of really a sense that that's like super connected to my uh, value or something, or like whatever that is, or like my value to the world, even though they're things I've completely made up for myself. They're like I've just
Mm.
completely invented. Most other people, I think probably most other people I interact with are either kind of like, oh, he was nice, that was nice. When I talked to him, I didn't feel bad or scared or something for a second, or stressed out. I
Yeah.
know that I probably stress out people, but I mean, I'm a teacher, so probably I'm stressing people out. But like, um, like that's probably more key to my value to other people than like whatever other kinds of like little things I write down on pieces of paper or on the internet and like send to them, or songs I make up or whatever. And so like sometimes I have to sometimes I try to remind myself of that. Like that like, oh, okay, if I'm just kind of like kind and like chill with people and I let them do their thing and like I smile and I'm try not to be as weird as I maybe naturally am or something. Like try to be like a little bit less awkward or something, just make people feel comfortable.
No, I love it.
That like that's
Too weird
probably
for awkward.
But like that's probably like that might be enough actually for most kind of things.
Hmm.
And even if I don't do that, it's probably enough. He
Yeah.
he goes into talking he goes into talking later in this article about this idea of like in some religious traditions, like they start with this idea of like peace. Like the thing where it's like peace be
Mm.
with you, and you kind of start from this place where it's just like okay, like nope, we're all good. Like you're good already. Everything's cool. This idea too that like you're enough. Like this is
Yeah.
Yeah.
that kind of like way of saying it too. But um, yeah, so I've been kind of trying to remind myself of that a little bit this week as I've maybe kind of been a little bit behind on some to-do list things, or also felt like I wasn't able to fully to kind of make everybody happy in the way that I think they want to be made happy or something in terms of like, oh, I need to call that person, I need to hang out with that person, I need to make time for that or whatever. Just giving myself a little break because I am trying. I am trying.
Yeah,
We're only human.
it's true. I think that goes back to too, like there's like so much now. I don't know
Yeah.
how it was before, but I just think there's like oversaturation in terms of like how much we expect ourselves to do.
Not only ourselves, but what others expect of us too.
Hmm.
What society expects of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that thing where it's like you look at like the efficiency of the American worker or something like in the last like 50 years, and then you look at like their how much they get paid, and like how much they
Oh
Yeah.
get
my
paid is
God.
like stayed the same or gone down a little bit, and the efficiency thing is like gone up like 500% since
That's
like 19.
insane.
I'm just making up that number, but it's like something crazy like that, like since like 1950, and
Yeah.
yeah, I mean yeah, and I'm not like I'm not fully like an angel in this. Like I expect probably unrealistic things from other people around me too, and all that kind of stuff. Because it's kind of like, whoa, blah blah blah. Um, I was thinking about this with traveling. Like we went to Minneapolis this last weekend, which was awesome. But I was kind of like, oh my God, I feel so tired. Like that was a lot, just like being in the airport and blah blah blah, doing that kind of thing. And then I find myself thinking of other people like, oh, they flew from home and they came back here, and I'm like, well, they should still have done their homework or something, or like, why are they being
Mm-hmm.
so like weird or whatever? And then I'm like, oh yeah, all that stuff is hard. Like moving around in the world is hard. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just like I also need I also would like to give more grace or something, or like be with other people, whatever that is.
Oh,
Yeah, I feel that.
I
And
do
also,
feel
I
that.
mean, I think it's easier to extend it to other people than to ourselves, per se, because we hold ourselves to like, I'm not speaking as for everyone, but at least for myself, I tend to hold myself to like this unobtainable standard.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so like if I can, for myself, if I can get grant, like for me, it's easier to grant like somebody else grace, but like granting it for myself, like, oh, okay, like I didn't do anything today, like, okay, that's fine. Like maybe or like viewing the smaller things as like bigger accomplishments, like getting laundry done and like
Yeah.
folding it then and there and putting it away, like and not doing it over a course of like 7 days,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know, things like that. But like, yeah, granting, if I can grant myself that same grace that I may grace, other people with, and I think that's like a beautiful thing to do. I
Yeah.
don't
I
know.
agree.
Do either of you feel this idea of like the productivity debt? Like you wake up in
Yeah.
the morning and you're like,
Definitely.
Yeah.
gotta fill up my basket.
Yeah.
Definitely. I feel like it also has changed, like depending on where I am in life, it depends on like what it is and stuff. Like, yeah, like whether or not I'm working or in school or in the summer or whatever it might be. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I also like I think because I finally realized I was asking myself to do too many or like too big of chunks. Does that make sense? What's
Mm.
English? Like I used to like give myself assignments or like things to do that were just like ridiculous. So I think I've gotten better at making it smaller and more accomplishable, but even then there's still judgment like
Within,
yeah,
yeah.
within that. So yeah, so I think I'm also trying to learn like now I think I'm trying to learn that I do need to give myself things to do with the expectation that I'm also going to eat and like go to sleep at a time that's reasonable so I can sleep enough to get up the next day. Like just like the basics of like taking care of myself, I think now, which is so backwards, but I'm learning how to add that in to like the things that I'm expecting of myself. And like yeah. Well, to that what you were talking about, Grace, that hits with me today because I legitimately woke up at 5:30 p.m. today but it's because I'm so exhausted. Like I just personify my body and I'm like my body's telling me stop.
Yeah.
Just really fully stop.
Yeah.
Like so I guess like one thing I'm also learning is that if I don't listen to my body or myself, it definitely
It'll
it
force
definitely
you.
yeah, it's like it ends up like waving huge neon lights at me like over here, I've been trying to tell you.
Yeah, I've been sending you
So,
signs this whole time. Yeah.
yeah, but that helps me with like I think with this concept too, like my body is on my team, so I have to like take care of it, like we're human
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
productive things. I don't
No, I
know.
feel that. Yeah, like I think like the schools, like we get up, we're like, oh, like immediately we have to go to school, and like they automatically give us assignments, or we had assignments due the night before, or like the week before or something, the day before. And so like we automatically have this sense of like urgency to get up and go do something. Or like I have to do something because like when you're so small, like all the way up till, whatever, like you're always like, oh, I have to get up, I have to go do something. And when that just, I guess that turns into like, oh, I'm not productive yet until I have done something. But we've always had that built into our lives of being semi-productive. I mean, like for me, sitting and watching a lecture was me being productive. I showed up and engaged my brain and, engaged in like debate or whatever, discussion, not debate. Um, but yeah, and so like being content with the idea of like waking up and understanding that being there is like you being productive and like you um the amount of work it took you to even get to this point is like being productive. Like so many things had to go right, you have to like make so many decisions, you have to do so many things in order for this for you to like wake up in that bed to your like 56 alarms. um but yeah, I think that's still being productive. You woke up and to think that you did everything before to get to this point. And now you just like take the day as it is. That's actually what I pray about. I'm like, I don't ask like, sorry, yeah, haha, I believe in God, but
Yes.
um
My God.
It's a big reveal. Yeah.
big reveal. I love Jesus. Anyways, it was National Boyfriend Day the other day and I posted Jesus.
That was so funny. That made my day.
Anyways, um, I don't even pray like I used to pray, oh yeah, let me have a productive day, like for the next day, or like my friends have. I don't even. I'm just like, Lord, can you just tomorrow let it be as it is. It's no longer about productivity anymore. It's like let it be as it is, as it should go, and then just let me be a part of it.
Yeah. I this is maybe like a tangent, but I think it's related. I also wish like I learned about productivity differently because there have just been like a few things in this job that I'm doing where like nothing insane, but like I've missed something and then it's just like it's done. Like I can't like either the document has closed so I can't like input into it anymore or like the event has passed, like that kind of thing. And I feel like I don't know. I guess I just wish there was like more dialogue about like productivity or deadlines or like being a human
Yeah.
so that it's just more, it's like less. I feel like in school you miss something and you're like 5 points off, but like really, what does that do? It just like, I guess maybe like in an extreme way, it would like mess up your GPA, which would then like bite you later on. But like for somebody like me who like mostly turned things in, I just feel like I wish that people had been like, no, really, the biggest thing you're missing is like the opportunity or like the learning or like the thing happening and going and
Yeah.
you missing it. I don't know.
True.
I don't know.
True.
Maybe
No,
that's
that
like a
makes
little dark.
sense.
You know what I mean? And then it's like if the deadline is not that type of deadline, then it's just like, oh, then it doesn't come out. Like I've been wanting to put on a single for so long and it's not out yet. And like that's the consequence, I guess, of this of not,
Of not doing
doing it is
it.
that it's not out. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so much to respond to and all.
Sorry,
No, no, no,
Charlie.
that's okay. I mean, that's all. That all makes me think of a lot of different kinds of things. I mean, two things. First of, like, two things to, two things. The first thing was that, uh, like, it's funny how we've kind of been trained as a whole society to think about productivity and work and our value in our lives, like in a very sort of like businessy, like
Mm-hmm.
factory model production kind of way, where it's just funny. It's like you're like, well, I have to sleep because if I sleep, then I do my work better. You know, like,
I literally said that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so right. Oh my gosh.
but it's like, but that
That's
goes
how
to
we think of it.
it goes to all these things. I'm like, oh, I should spend time with my friends and family because that will make me a better worker when it comes to Monday. I'll be more balanced. Or like, I need to eat food so that I'm strong for my work.
No,
That I
that's
can do.
so bad.
I need to drink a lot of water so my voice is in good shape, and it's like, well, I also need to drink water, by the way, just to be alive. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I have value that does not have anything to do with the work I do, And we've talked about this a little bit before, and it comes to identity stuff. But
Yeah.
I used to teach this like introductory like voice technique class, and I was just kind of like in that first class, I would ask everybody like, if you weren't a musician, like what would you do? Like, what are other things that you're interested in? And like most other people would be like, oh, well, I also like, I'm kind of interested in the law or something, or I also kind of like sports or whatever the thing is. They'd have something else. And then inevitably there'd be one or two people in the class and they would be like, there's nothing else I could or would ever do. I only care about music. That is my whole life. And I think like, and the rest of us just kind of be like, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
that's a lot. That feels very intense. And I think they felt like, oh, that's the right answer because I'm here or whatever, and I'm invested in this, and that just shows my passion or whatever for it.
Mm.
And I'm not saying it's right answer or wrong answer, but like for me, when I hear stuff like that, it kind of makes me like the rigidity of that feels whatever that thing is, like the rigidity of that feels like it makes me kind of like brace myself a little bit because it's not even like a what if that doesn't work out or something, but it's just kind of like that's really heavy for that because there's a lot of ways for it to work out and to not work out in by the second. You know what I mean? And it's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
for that to be, oh, I sang that one phrase and didn't, it wasn't super sick or something, or like I went for that note and it wasn't as loud as I wanted it to be, or whatever. Like there's so many like little detaily things and bigger things that are so out of your control or so tricky to do. It's just kind of like that all feels kind of heavy. But then we layer all this stuff on where it's like, then our whole life is about supporting our work. And our work is this really rigid, specific, super defined thing that we've defined when we were 15 or something, or 17 or 20 or whatever, that we've like fully defined at this part of our life. And then we're living to do that thing. And it's just as like, I just feel like it's like, oh my God, we're teetering on this like popsicle stick. Like our whole life is teetering on this like thing that feels very that feels like a lot for anybody to take, to deal with, to process,
Yeah.
or to be sustainable or whatever that is. And then now because I've talked so much about that, I forgot what the other thing that we were talking about. But yeah.
That makes me think about this is ironic because I discovered this at work. But no, I've been nannying, and so like sometimes doing things with the kids though makes me like my brain kind of short circuit because I'm like, oh yeah, like kids have it figured out. They want to like dig in the dirt to like find a worm or like water the garden or ride their bike. Like it's just been reminding me of the things in life that make life like really exciting and worth
Yeah.
living that are very ordinary but that are like I guess it's just really making me consider my values and like what I care about and stuff and like
Mm.
trying to get me back into like experiencing
Experience
life.
mode. Yeah,
Yeah.
like always keeping that childlike spirit, I think is that even stepping to music that way or stepping to life that way. Yes. Um I don't know. I don't want to bring it back to music, but
No,
like
we should. We must.
yeah, I think like uh because we can't get jaded toying around with this productivity idea, but like if we like go to a piano and just like hit, I don't know, middle C, and we're just like, oh, this is middle C. Or like maybe it's not today. Maybe it's just a note on the piano and I'm going to experience this. Oh, I'm just going to keep on playing this. Oh, it goes into different octaves. Oh, cool. Like C, different octaves. Oh, what if I add a D? Like, and experiencing that, like stepping to music in that way, not acting like we know everything, but acting like, oh, this is like legitimately a toy and like I'm just gonna play. Like definitely just like, musical play and that idea.
Yeah.
That is an actual like theory, I think, musical play.
Oh,
Mhm.
for sure. Well, like there's this game Animal Crossing. Have you guys ever heard of this game? Right?
Yes.
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 And that game is like centered around that you start with this huge debt where it's like there's this little raccoon character or something. He's like, "La, la, la, la," and he's like, you owe me like a
You
million
start with the
dollars.
debt?
Yeah, like you go to this, well, at least like this one, the one that I played, whatever was like you're on this island and it's like, and you go there and they're like, oh, do you want a house? And you're like, yeah, I want a house. That's kind of what the game is. And they're like, okay. And then so you get this house and they're like, that's cool. You owe me $10,000. And so then you're like, okay, cool. And then like, what should I do now? And they're like, well, you need to pay off your bet because if you want like, or you need to pay off your debt because like, if you want a bigger house, then you do another loan. And then you do like, if you want this thing, you get another loan. And so it's just like, whew. And I think like our lives kind of feel that way a little bit. There's like you're born, and then it's like you have this debt of like you go to elementary school, and it's like we have this debt of homework. You need to write your letters down,
Oh my
and then you
God,
need to read
yeah.
this book about monkeys or whatever it is. And then it's like then you get to college, it's the same thing, and then you become an adult, and it's like no, like you want to have an apartment, right? Like you want to eat sandwiches. Okay, cool. Like you're in debt, like, and that's kind of that feeling. And then music
Yeah.
starts to feel that way too, where it's like. Well, I want to be a musician. And I've propagated this a little bit with what we talked about a few weeks ago with my practice thing. It's like, if you don't practice, you're not a musician. But it's like that kind of thing where it's like, maybe it's just a point. I don't know. This is an underdeveloped idea, but maybe it's like point of view perspective thing where it's like what Alex is talking about with play, where it's kind of more of like an adventure thing. Like you start here,
Yeah.
you are, and you're going like forward. Like you have this motion that you're kind of just traveling or something, as opposed to this thing where you're like, okay, I gotta pay for this thing, or like I have to
Yeah.
do stuff. I have to do enough stuff that I feel like I'm who I want to be or something, or who
Yeah.
I say I am or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, enough of my weird self-help stuff. Let's crack into our article this week on Substack.
Woohoo.
Four for Foray, Songs of Fall. Okay, cool. So this week we wrote about the music for fall. I listed it as this is our second entry in this series we're trying to do called Four for Foray, which is kind of a best of list. And I wrote from the chilly autumnal forest where we jumped in a pile of orange and yellow leaves and got super itchy. Here are our favorite songs for
Yes.
fall. That super itchy thing was like a last minute edit. I was like going through the thing and I was like, I need a little bit more here. What happens when you jump in a pile of leaves?
It does.
You get super itchy. At least that's
Ooh, I
me.
feel it now.
Is no one else getting itchy from the leaves? That's just
No, I have so many good memories of jumping in leaf piles.
Yeah, that was really fun.
But very itchy, yes.
yeah, yeah. And I think we're kind of mostly saving Halloween stuff till October. Although I think we have one spooky song on
Oh,
here, but
sorry.
no, that's okay. But if you're interested in this list at all, just get ready for our October
Get
or
psyched.
for our October Halloween, which I guess now it's October. We
But
blew
it's
it.
not the meat of October
It's not
yet.
spooky season
Not
yet.
it's not quite yet there. Yeah. So I kind of either forced or tricked everybody into writing about autumn leaves. So we're going to talk about autumn leaves is on all of our lists. So Autumn Leaves. I think we all have a slightly different take on it though. There's so much to say about Autumn Leaves that
Rat.
but I'll kind of do a little
Rat.
intro. So it's a jazz standard classic written in 1945 by Joseph Cosma and Johnny Mercer. There's French lyrics too, which some people have uh, I have learned in the past and now since forgotten. Had either of you ever sung the French lyrics for this?
No.
I have not.
That's like such like a cool voice teacher thing to do, to be like, oh, we're gonna do Autumn Leaves, but we're gonna do it in French. And
That's so
Fancy.
it's so music school. I love it.
yeah. um,
Unless
But
you're
then-
French. Anyway, sorry.
I'm not even gonna attempt to do any of the French lyrics because I know I'm gonna blow it. I'm gonna get a text message from someone being like, "You are
Like,
fired from
who?
everything." So I'm not gonna do that. Um, my version I wanted to shout out was the Chick Corea Bobby McFerrin version of it, because it's
Yes.
so great. My friends when I was in undergrad, we used to like sing this to each other because they're like, I don't know if Bobby McFerrin like legitimately forgets the lyrics in this or he's just doing it to be funny, but he's like, I see your lips, I smell your breath. Like he changes the lyrics and stuff, and it's a live thing, so everyone like cracks up and stuff. But like he does it as like a very cheesy, the first time through the head or whatever. He's just kind of like the thank you. He's like thank you, and everyone kind of starts laughing and clapping. This is like the thank you very much.
That's so
Autumn
funny.
leaves. Thank you. Yeah. And he just like does this very cheesy thing while like Chick is doing the gnarliest like out kind of stuff. It's like so crazy. And then he gets through one of the heads and then he's like, I used to hold and he
Yeah.
just is like he just like tears into it and then he's
Ugh.
like singing a bass line thing and then he's singing like the highest stuff that I've ever heard and he was like
Yeah.
and he just is like up
I love him.
he's like up around like a high, like G and F and stuff, like for days, like G high for like tenors and basses, like up there, like above the treble clef staff. He's just like up there for like a whole chorus or something. So it's just gnarly. So I just wanted to encourage everybody to check that out. But also, I had to shout out for Autumn Leaves the first like 5 notes or 6 notes of the Danny Elfman Batman theme from like 1989 or something, which was like my heyday of being into Batman. Just was actually it's still probably my heyday of being into Batman. Like that had never ended. But the beginning theme for the Batman theme for that one is ba ba da ba da. So it's like ba da 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 ba 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 ba. Right?
Oh
It's like
my
the same
god.
notes, but the first one is like ba ba da ba 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 da ba ba da ba ba da ba ba da ba ba. It's like the first like few notes of Autumn Leaves, which I think is like totally not. I've always said it's not a coincidence. It totally could be, but to me, those songs are
Love if it wasn't a coincidence.
if it wasn't a coincidence and I just did
Yeah.
like some really nerdy Shankirian analysis of
Love.
of the
Oh
Batman
my
theme.
goodness.
Yeah. So Amy, what was your take on Autumn Leaves?
Mine is the recording on Boss Tenors straight ahead from Chicago, August 961. It's so killing. I grew up like listening to this and the whole album's really really swinging. Like I think there's a video of my young brother like playing both things, but there's like two of him and like there's a little action of being like, like at himself. It's like literally pure gold.
Yeah.
David Azzara. So check that out if you somehow find it on YouTube. But anyways, but no, the Autumn Leaves version is just like it's just super swinging. Like I think there's just certain recordings that I grew up with that kind of like epitomize swing for me. Like that's just what I think of, the way I feel and stuff. And this is one of those things. Their ideas are committed and everything like that. Like yeah. It's swinging, but then also like the way that they kind of internalize the tune is just like artistry, town USA, population, Gene Ammons, and Sunny Stitt.
We need to get your brother's version of this like on either like our social media account or on our YouTube or something.
I can find it. I'll
Yeah,
find
yeah.
it.
Oh
We
my
can link
gosh.
it.
We need to
It's
link
so
it or
killing.
share it, or we need to acquire it through merger or something.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
either
God.
Autumn Leaves or No Greater Love, but it's one of
Okay.
the Boss Tenors things. I think it might be Autumn Leaves.
Either of those
Anyways,
work for me.
Gold.
yeah.
Alexandria, how about you?
I chose Autumn Leaves from Wynton Marsalis's. I think it's Standard Time.
Yeah.
I think that's the name with him. I identify albums by cover art.
The
So he's
cover art.
like in his little tuxedo, like I'm Wynton with all his hair. I'm Wynton, and this is like one of those Tane during this time was like going off on his musical math journey, which he's still on his musical math journey, but like fitting all of these beats into what feels like one. Um, so that's like the song is like kind of like the epitome of that, or like not the epitome, the example of that, I think. Um, but yeah, I love this version because it's like peak Young Lions, um, peak of like, oh yeah, we're on the scene, like we're playing these standards, but like you haven't heard it like this. And yeah, I just love a young Tane, and I love an older Tane. He's probably like the biggest sweetheart ever. But yeah, I this is like so jazz nerd, but yeah, Autumn Leaves, Wynton Marsalis with Tane doing his thing.
Rock and roll. It's a strong choice. And I should mention too that I made a playlist on Apple Music that has all of our stuff. So if you are on
Oh
Apple
yeah.
Music, we should check that out. Do you too? But do you Apple Music or Spotify?
Both.
Embarrassingly, I do Spotify, but I think every day about switching over. I mean, they're both, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a whole can of worms.
I thought of yeah, that's a whole other episode. Anyways, our next one is the next one on my list was Harvest Moon by Neil Young. Um, yeah, I think this is this was kind of like the first Neil Young song that I really got into. Are either of you kind of into Neil Young at all, or is that too like old,
No,
crusty
this
white
is
man
the only Neil Young song that I
that
that
you
I
know?
know.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not super
I think it's
in.
the one to know. So yeah, if you yeah, it's just a great tune. There's a bunch of cool covers out there, but the Neil Young version is the best. Neil Young sounds like this. Come a little bit closer. Hear what
Oh,
I have to say. It's like all head voice.
keep going.
Well, I'm still in love with you. I want to see you dance again.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I'm gonna go to jail for that, but that's kind of my Neil Young impression. But he plays harmonica, which is cool on it, and he sings in his head voice. It's really pretty. Amy, what's your second one?
My second one is a beautiful song called Autumns by my friend Daniel Ryan Fiamengo. Um, this is like such a beautiful song. It was kind of funny because I met Daniel last year. And like, when you meet someone in music and then you're like, oh, they have songs out. And so you kind of like do the stalk. So that definitely happened. But this is like a genuinely beautiful song. And it came on in the car the other day. And I was like, oh my gosh. And now it's kind of fall. Because when I had done the stalk, it wasn't fall or whatever. But it's just a very beautiful arrangement. And he has a great voice. He's like a very talented songwriter, and definitely check him out. He has some stuff out, and he's always working. He's doing a writing degree right now, so um, yeah, he's just awesome, and it's a great song.
Yeah, Daniel.
Yeah.
Uh,
Alexandria, what's your next one?
I have Moonlight in Vermont, the Betty Carter with the Ray Bryant trio version.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's just a banger. It has fall vibes completely. For me, it has like closer. Okay, so it's not like necessarily like September, October fall vibes. I think it's like more November fall vibes actually when it's like, you know, cool. It's like a little bit cool because in the Northeast it gets cold here apparently in November.
Yeah,
I'm not
apparently.
Yeah, newsflash.
didn't know that was a thing. um, but yeah, whenever I like put this on, I am automatically think like, yeah, I'm holding my cup of hot autumn drink with on, and this has to be on vinyl. Like it has to be on vinyl. It has
Mhm.
to be playing. And you have to have your
Yes.
hot autumn drink with like a candle, and like maybe you're about to watch your favorite like fall movie or something. I don't know. It just gives those vibes. It's so beautiful.
And this is like super, super early Betty Carter with the
Yeah.
Ray Bryant trio stuff. That's very cool.
I think it's a haiku actually. Icy finger waves. She chose on a
Whoa.
mountainside. Moonlight in Vermont. Yeah, it's a haiku. By the way, fun fact.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about is the bridge?
Vermont. Vermont
No.
is known for the leaves and the peeping in the fall.
I don't know.
Whoa.
Sorry,
Love
Charlie,
it.
you're up next.
Yeah, my next one was I've just been waiting for so long to get some Led Zeppelin in one of these lists, but "Ramble On" by Led Zeppelin. Some of the lyrics are "Leaves are falling all around. It's time I was on my way." This is a famous song because it's kind of about the Lord of the Rings, too. It's like kind of based on that.
Oh.
So it's like, but it's kind of a weird version of Middle Earth apparently, where it's like being in Mordor is cool or something, or I don't know. It's like it's kind of a little bit funky. It's definitely like uh, Lord of the Rings, but like maybe kind of on drugs or something, which is maybe more so than the drugs that the hobbits are on. Um, but yeah, it's like fall vibes. Lord of the Rings is back. Everybody's talking about it. There's a new show and stuff. We've been watching. Have you guys been watching that show at all? The Lord of the Rings thing? No. Is
No.
that not your jam at all? Um,
It's not mine.
no. But so
But I respect it. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
and also I think this is like a little bit more of a. It's one of the more chill Led Zeppelin songs. It's not fully chill from the band that basically like invented like heavy metal or whatever or like hard rock. It's not a chill song throughout, but the beginning of it is very acoustic and stuff. And then later on it's like Ramble on. I'm gonna do like a impression of everybody that sings
I'm
songs.
obsessed.
But it gets very gnarly at the end, which is like a classic Led Zeppelin thing. But it has fall vibes
We
and
love gnarly.
it's a good way. It's pretty gnarly. Amy, what's your third one?
My third song. Okay, yeah. September in the Rain. I don't know, like maybe this was a cop out because I just didn't really pick a version. I just love the song. But that's like one reason I love standards is like they exist like they just
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah.
And there's so many different versions that you can draw inspiration from. The ones that I wrote down though were Sarah, Dinah, and then Roy Hargrove. I really like Roy Hargrove. I spent some time studying him my last semester. It's just like so many killing things.
Oh
And
yes.
he's so versatile. But um yeah, I just love this tune. I also the thing I like about this song is that like I still haven't figured out how many different versions there are. I think in changes, like it seems to me like we've got two going on. Like there's like a minor four thing happening, and then there's like a chromatic version. But basically what happens is I'll sing the head, and then when it's time to solo, I'm just like, I wonder what they're gonna play this time. And then I like improvise, like I just am like, okay, cool. And then I try to go with like I improvise based on what I hear. But I just always kind of chuckle because every time I go to sing this song, I'm like, which change is gonna happen this time?
There are a
Anyways,
number of songs obviously like that where it's just kind of like you're like, okay,
like
someone's gonna choose a version of this and then feel really strongly that is the version. You know what I mean?
exactly,
Like really
exactly.
like very set on it.
Yeah,
Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I've never sung that song, but I think it's really cool.
I
Um,
like it.
Alexandria, what's your third one?
So this is the spooky one.
This one snuck
I
in.
chose it snuck in. Sorry guys. So I chose Monster by our problematic king, Kanye West. And crew, but like it's stacked. Like Bonnie Iver is on this. I don't know
Ooh,
if like
I
it's
haven't
Nicki
listened.
Minaj, I think Rick Ross, like it's pretty stacked. Like the crew that he brought along with him is pretty stacked.
Wow.
But yeah, anyways, Monster, not to the night sound, no.
Oh, now we're getting other. Now
Hey,
everyone's doing it. I like it.
But this is a very good you want to scare your, 3-year-old cousin, put this song on and then they'll be really scared. But it's good. It's good for, spooky vibes. If you want spooky vibes.
spooky vibes.
Nice. Yeah, I'm definitely
Parlay.
getting in that zone. By the way, just watched Hocus Pocus 2.
We did too.
Did
We
you
li-
like it? Did you guys love it? Oh,
It was a little spooky.
we need to.
Well, wait a second.
Okay, we need
We
to
literally watched what?
we need to do like a
Yeah.
like point counterpoint. So, what
Yes.
would you give it out of 10?
Okay.
That was disgusting.
I know we don't do reviews here, but we
I
should do a
liked.
review for.
Okay, the reason why it's getting like a 6 is because of the musical.
Yeah, the musical stuff was
numbers.
weird. Like not enough music for it to make any sense. But we were saying, we should probably, I don't know. When I was saying that I felt
Like-
like the
like
person
spoiler alerts?
writing it was high. No, I felt like I was like, and then Alexandria, I think said, or maybe Hannah, we watched with our roommate Hannah. One of them said like they could do anything and like people would still watch it. You know what I mean? Like that was the vibe.
Yeah.
When they went to Walgreens, that's when I was like, like I just have to give it a 7 out of 10 because of how out it was. It was so
Oh my
out.
gosh.
We're in the
But then-
apothecary, and like
Yeah.
Literally, it was so out.
eating
It was
freaking
like
you.
bizarre.
Yeah,
I
it was.
did too.
But
Oh, sorry.
what would you give it, Charlie?
Okay, I would give it like a 3. I didn't like finish it. Yeah, I did not finish it. So I love the first one. The first one is iconic, obviously.
Maybe that's why. Because the first one's not as important to me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like I'm not in
Yeah.
that boat where it's like,
Okay, but I'm also kind of on a tear of this like thing where it's like I'm kind of sick of seeing these like really long like sequels that are like way like the new Top Gun thing, and it was like people are trying to act like Top Gun like Tom Cruise is like 38 or something, and it's been like 35 years or whatever
my
since the last movie.
yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just sick of like the people. I don't know. It's weird seeing. It's weird, but then also the music was horrible. It's just
Yeah.
so bad.
So
Well, Alex did say at the very beginning, she was like, this music is bad. This is not
bad,
good
yeah,
music.
yeah. And I actually like the music in the first one. They do like I put a spell on you. I thought that was like kind of cool. Like I was into that. Like okay, I'm here. But the I mean I was also I don't know how old when I was probably 10 or something when I saw the first one or something. So it's like that's different. There's different rules.
Right,
But
right.
but they started it like Bette Midler kind of just randomly started singing something. I don't know if they were in the
Yeah.
woods or something, but she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh yes," and a blah, 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 and a sha, blah, blah, and I'm like, "What the
It
hell
was
is
so
happening
weird.
here?"
I was like,
"Is
they're
this a
singing now?
musical?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
is this
yeah,
a
yeah.
musical? Because if it's a musical, okay, there are different rules for a musical. Like musicals are
Yeah.
sillier and stuff because you have to
Yeah.
fit the songs in and you have to do a thing. So I was like, okay, is that what it is? And then I was like, no. But kind of, it's like every time I start to be like, oh, this is not a musical, then it'd be like, now we're going to sing again for no reason.
Yeah.
I was like, oh
My favorite was when that girl was like, why are they, who are they performing for? I was like, me too, girl.
like, and also the beginning, like I didn't understand like why they had to introduce the whole beginning to introduce that. Sorry, spoiler alert. That one spell, like the power maxima or whatever,
Right, yeah.
maxima magica. I was just like max, whatever the spell was.
Yeah.
I was like, we had to go through this elaborate, whole like first
When I didn't
15
finish-
minutes of
Yeah,
the
and I
two-
didn't finish the movie, but who is that first weird witch that's like in the thing?
She's like the mom. Okay, see, that's why I have to finish it because we find
Oh.
out she did not die.
Oh right. I mean that
She's
totally.
the
It was
bird.
like, oh, she's not. I totally could
The
guess that
bird.
because it's like we're not spending that much time on a character that's just gonna disappear in a second. But why did they make
Yeah.
her dress like? Why was she so? Why did she have to be so sexy and stuff? It's like
Yeah, it was
I don't
weird.
know.
because what is it
and
like
then-
in the 1800s or something? It's like why?
Yeah.
Like why does it have to be like that? It's like God. I don't know. This is a
Yeah.
hard kind of sell. I think for me it was.
It
And
was
then-
weird.
Yeah, and then they had the one little girl, not the younger person, be a witch, and she didn't even get to use her witchful powers. It's like
Yeah.
she got to use them twice. Come on, bro. Like,
Yeah.
anyways,
It
yeah.
was weird.
Well, anyways, if you're, I hope you didn't spoil that for anybody. But also, if you're interested in it, watch it. I can talk probably anybody out of a movie or into a movie.
Wow. Yeah.
So I don't want to
Oh my
talk
God.
anybody out of it. If I don't want to yuck anybody's yum. If you like it, but that was kind of what those are my feelings about it initially. Maybe in 20 years when Hocus Pocus 3 is out and it's
Oh my goodness.
or whatever.
And everything is like CGI because it's like no one is
Yes.
around
Yeah.
anymore.
Like, oh, we're doing a live action CGI
Oh my
Pinocchio
gosh.
Hocus Pocus crossover. Okay, so where were we? We're
Your
on our
fourth
fourth song,
tune.
right? So
Yeah.
fourth tunes. Fleet Foxes for me, it's more about vibes than it is about the actual song. But there's if you need to keep time on me from, I think it's their newer-ish album. It might not be their newest album, it might be their second newest album. But I took a little liberty because the first line is "How could it all fall in one day?" And I was like, "Fall."
Fall.
Were we too sure of the sun? And I was thinking about this kind of thing where like the days are getting shorter. And this is like, oh yeah, we're too sure, we're getting too comfortable with the sun being around all the time. But it was a bit of a stretch for me. It's more for vibes than it was for. I had other options and stuff, but I was like, I want a Fleet Foxes on here for vibes.
Yeah.
Amy, what's your fourth tune?
My fourth
I know what your fourth
tune.
tune is.
Do you guys know this song?
I
It's
think
called
so. I tried to put this on
Okay.
I tried to put this on the playlist and I could not find a recorded version of this
I
that was
well
like on Apple Music.
Yeah, I thought about it for a while because I was like, I don't know, like I really don't know much. I even texted my dad. I was like, where did it come from? But it's called Gabby the Gobbler. But I still don't know because he just said like that's a song we sang with my godparents when I was little. I also wish I had my ukulele because it's not gonna make any sense, but should I sing it really quick for
Yes.
everyone?
Yeah.
It goes, Gabby the gobbler sings this turkey song. Gobble, 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 as she waddles along. Gabby the gobbler. Wow, I'm gonna forget the words now. Um, she can be, I think it's like, is it fat? I don't know.
Ooh, girl.
Gobble, 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 gobble. No
Body
one's
body
gonna catch
positivity.
me. The other turkeys eat and eat, but Gabby's on a diet. Gabby says if I get thinner, I won't be a Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh my god.
Gabby the gobbler, you can hear her say, gobble, 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 happy Thanksgiving Day.
Yay!
So I don't remember that second lyric.
This feels like kind of like a
Or
dieting
as she could
song.
be.
Is this a dieting song?
No, no, it's about a turkey, but like in order for it not to be dark, she's like thin so that people don't want her for Thanksgiving, so she lives. I don't know. I'm
It's
not
really
gonna,
not
you know
a dieting
what?
song, but it's
I
about,
haven't delved
it's
into
about
it. It
if you
might be
don't
dark.
eat, then you'll live.
Then you live
I don't know.
You eat, then
That's
you'll
like
if you're a
die.
turkey.
I just love the gobble 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 gobble. My favorite part is when Gabby says, "If I get thinner, I won't." It cracks me up. Anyways,
That's a good iconic moment.
and we'd always do like a huge writ. It'd be like, "I won't be a Thanksgiving dinner."
Do y'all sing this every Thanksgiving?
Oh yeah, and then
Well, so what
ba-doom,
is
boom,
what does
boom.
the ukulele add to the sauce of this?
It was just gonna play chords.
Oh, but it doesn't
Just like a 1-5-1.
it doesn't have its own little
No, no,
thing.
no,
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 okay. It's not part of
Does
it.
it have its own gobble?
no,
Have its
no.
own gobble sort of a thing.
No, just a portable instrument to but never mind.
Yeah.
But check it out, guys.
Check
Maybe
it out.
I'll record something.
Check out
Oh
my
my
single
gosh.
coming out November 19th.
Gabby the Gobbler.
Just in time. Um,
Oh my gosh.
okay,
All
Alex,
right.
what's your fourth song?
My fourth song is also vibey. It's that song about the Midway. It's Joni Mitchell's tune.
Mhm.
And I don't know, whenever I think about this song, it's essentially about this like lover guy that she's like figuring it out. And so I always thought about this like, 1990s like Disney Channel autumn fall vibes movie where like the two teenagers like meet up at like the pumpkin patch / state fair type deal, and they're like, this is like the song where they're like da, 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 and they're just like seeing each other like on the what is that thing called,
Ferris
the
wheel?
yeah,
Oh.
the Ferris wheel,
Yeah.
and they're just like, oh my gosh. And so I don't know, I just find yeah, I was just like, that's instantaneously where my mind went. So I'm like, this is the fall song. And plus the album cover of this album is clouds. Yeah, is like fall vibes. It has like, you know, the nice sunset with the oranges and the things, and she's holding a leaf. No, she's holding a flower. She's holding like a rose or something.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, Joni knew this is fall vibes, and maybe she was thinking the same thing. I hope she was thinking this too. Like, oh yeah, I want this to be in a Disney Channel original movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is definitely much better music than would be in the Disney Channel. Maybe not. I don't know. There's got to be bangers in that. I feel like Amy has gone to like another zone or something. She's like,
No, I'm here.
okay,
Yeah.
I'm here.
awesome, cool. Well, check out our playlist or check out the article on Substack if you're looking for some fall vibes. I was quite proud of my little GIF that I made with all the little leaves.
Yeah,
was
it's
beautiful.
beautiful.
That took me a little longer than I probably would care to admit to make that, but I was kind of like, I have an idea, I'm gonna make it, and then I did, and now
And then you did.
I'm looking at it right now, and I feel like it's like putting me in a trance. So if you're feeling like you want to listen to Joni Mitchell and go in a trance and look at like a bunch of leaves, then check out Substack.
Yes,
Amy, do you want to read us out?
absolutely.
Before we do like the big readout, we did have some
Reviews.
reviews on Apple Podcast. I think I can read these because I don't think I sent them to you too.
Let's do it.
Let's
So
do it.
I'll read these. So, by the way, yeah, if you leave a review on Apple Podcasts, then we'd love to read your read what you have to say in next week's podcast. So, Alex Sky said,
Aw.
Foray is awesome. I love listening to these conversations, hearing new music suggestions, and fresh insights from them. Can't wait for more episodes.
Aw. Thanks,
Jo-
Meme Twin.
Josie Lawrence said, Fave podcast. These guys are so lovely to listen to. Post listen, I always feel a bit more connected with the music world and have learned something new.
Wow.
And then David Timothy Lewis said, great insights and vibes. This one's funny. He said, really like the overall energy of this cast. That's how I say
Oh.
podcast. A fun and breezy chat. Felt like everyone was my friend. Just a bunch of jazzy buddies talking and saying things about music and being young. I like the part about red wine. I could relate to that idea of buying cheap stuff and wanting to impress strangers. I'm not sure how.
I love that.
Yeah,
Oh
so
my
those are
goodness.
thank you for those reviews. All 5 stars, by the way. All 5-star reviews.
Go
So
team.
leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. It helps a lot. I don't want to take Amy any of your thunder in your readout, but yeah,
No, that's
thanks
okay.
for doing that. So Amy, read us out.
Yes, thank you for listening, everyone, and thank you for supporting Foray Music. Remember to like and subscribe. And like Charlie said, if you leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, we might read it next time. And it does help us out a lot. So please do so. For more, follow us on Instagram at Foray Music. Subscribe to our newsletter at foraymusic.substack.com and check out our website at foraymusic.com and our merch. Check out our merch. I'm excited for
Cotton
mine
Bureau.
to come.
Yeah,
On Cotton Bureau, yes.
Cotton Bureau. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right as rain, John Legend.
So wise, John Legend. Did you see what I did on the I like on the YouTube thing? I'm doing a thing where like it cuts out, and then it says the quote, and then it has John Legend's head. I don't know if you saw that.
I've been listening to it. I didn't see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I'm going the extra mile with these Alex sayings of the.
Yes.
Well, thanks everybody for listening. We think you're super. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, we ready?
Oh, I think so, Governor.
Okay, well, we're not going to talk like that, are we?